Alright, welcome back to part 3 of the anchor post, where we're going to start designing this sweep and bend, and this is the last part that we'll be using solid tools to make cuts and unions. On this one there will be no cuts, and no butts and no coconuts. Okay, sorry, I had to do that. I heard that somewhere, never figured out what it meant until I realized it was about cutting in line or butting in line, and if you do that you're not going to get your coconuts. So anyway, we're not going to be using any of the cutting tools today. We're just going to be using the follow me tool and the union tool. So first let's look if we can see if we can find our dimensions that we need. We know from center point to here is 22.5 millimeters. The diameter needs to be 7 millimeters, and we're sitting 17.50 to that center dot. So, okay, that's good to know. This one, a little bit trickier to know what the diameter of this one is. We know from the center line it's 22.50. This is 15, so half of 15 is 7.5. 7.5 plus 22.50. Yeah, it's too early to do math. So let's do this. Whoops. I did not hit CMD. I hit calculator. By now, you've probably already added it together. I don't. So, bear with me for like 30 seconds. Oh, it's 30. Wow, imagine that. Okay. So, this has, from the center point up, it's a diameter of 30 millimeters. So let's go ahead and place that. We know it's going to be 7.5. Look at that, 7.5, 7.5. I didn't even see that one right there. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, bear with me, the pollen count here where I'm at is really high, so my voice might sound dry. Okay. Let's see, do I want to make it part of the model? Yeah, so let's just go into model space right here. Tape measure 7.5. Oh, wrong direction. We need to go down 7.5. Then we need to go in 7.5. Circle. We want factors of 12, so I'm going to do 36 for this one. We want it on the red axis, and we want it to be a diameter 7, so a radius of 3.5. There we go. Actually, let's not do that right now. We need to make our line first before we can have anything follow it. So we're going to use green right along here, and we're going to go, let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to take this and move it up 30. Okay. No. Yeah, I can tell it's early. Let's go up 15. Excuse me. Okay, this is where we're going to place our circle. And we're going to do it along the green axis. There we go, which is the left arrow, till we meet here. Okay. So what we're trying to accomplish here is we want to be able to erase certain lines of the circle. So notice I just tried to erase, but erased the whole circle. So use the line tool and at least connect down to there. Grab the eraser tool. Go ahead and erase that, erase that, erase that line. So now we have that. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so perfect for that one. so let's do it on the other side now. So this needs to go, that went the wrong, man, Sketchup does just not want to work with me today. Right there. Then C, left arrow for the green, connect it, line tool. Let's do this one more time so you guys can see how it all works. Click there, erase. Okay, so now we have our two loops. Okay, now with those two loops created, let's go back to our drawing. And we know we have to be, we're at the correct height. Now we just need to go back the correct distance. So, and we need to be 17.50 from the back end. So let's go ahead and make a guide there. 17.5. Okay, so, oops, we're going to go up along the blue, 22.50, and then we need to come along in the red direction, 17.5. I feel like 17.5. Okay, there we go. Okay, so our line, is that what I need to do? No. So we have to find out what this diameter of this half circle is, but we don't really need to because we have the lengths of these lines right here of 20. So that's going to be super simple to do. So line tool, we just know we need to connect right on this endpoint, and we're going along the red 20. Hit escape, come over to this way, along the red 20. Okay, so now all you have to do is use the arc tool and do a tangent at vertex, or have it along the red if you want to do that, and it'll say half circle. And notice we're butted up right against the guide and it says half circle, so that's what we want. Or you can use tangent at vertex. They're both going to be the same because of the way we've done our measurements. That's how you know you've done your measurements correctly, is when it says tangent at vertex and it looks like a half circle, but then you hit the right arrow to make it along the red axis, and then it ends up saying half circle when you're connected to the guide. So we know we're golden. Okay, so now comes the tricky part. So go ahead and go into X-ray view. If we were to put a circle right here, I'm just going to make it 3.5 just for the heck of it, and I were to click this line and hit follow me with this, notice right here it goes on the inside, but out here it does not connect. That is no bueno. We do not want that. So what we need to do, using the line tool, we need to extend in here 5 millimeters. So just connect it. Beauty of the X-ray vision is connected at that endpoint. Make sure it's along the red. Type in 5. We're good. Okay. And then, oops, on this one, circle, endpoint, right arrow. Make it 3.5. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so now we just need to select everything for follow me. So we need to select that line on the inside. It is selected. Hold Control and go through and click everything. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, I went ahead and clicked on all the lines that we needed to. So now we want to click on the follow me path, or the follow me tool, and then come in here and click on that. You got to zoom in This is where it gets tricky. Okay, so notice there's no dots on this upper half. That's good. So click it. Okay. And it should have made it. So that's what we want. Okay, so now the next piece is, let's go back to regular vision. Notice faces are reversed. We want our insides to be our insides, not our outsides. So if we click this, it's not going to say solid component. So go back inside, right click, reverse faces. Okay, everything looks good, right? We're going to click it. Still doesn't say solid. Something is going on. I'll tell you what it is. If we go to X-ray, notice our follow path is still there. For some reason, Sketchup does not like to have these extra lines on the inside. So run solid inspector, and it's going to say we have stray edges and 2 reversed faces. I forgot about the circles on the inside. Notice everything's highlighted in red. So go ahead and hit fix. Go ahead and hit fix. And no errors. Everything is shiny. So, okay, let's go back to regular view. Now notice it says solid. One thing that I did was we could have created this shape as its own component and then done a union, but I have tried to do that in the past and it's just awfully difficult. So with this particular one, it was just easy to make it in place. We could if we wanted. Alright, let's just experiment for a second. I've triple clicked, everything's selected. We could do an intersect faces and clean things up, but we have solid tools to do that. So let's just go ahead and make a component, and we're just going to call it rail for the heck of it. So, okay, but in order to do this, let's explode the main one so that we have this. Okay. Okay, we need to make this one its own component, call it main body. Yes. Okay, so now we have 2 components. So what we could do if you wanted is do a union. Where are my union tools? Union. Sometimes I do it backwards, so I'm going to try this one with this one. Give it a minute, let's see what happens. Okay, so it went ahead and completed the process. I used NROTH, solid tools on this one. And notice now it's one solid component and there were no errors. If we go to X-ray, notice how the insides, those extra pieces, those weldments, or those are not there anymore. So now it's just been joined at the hip right there, so to speak. So yeah, anyway, let's clean this model up a little bit. Let's get rid of all these lines so that we can admire our work. Let's go ahead and hide this one. Okay, so there you go. It is now complete. The only thing, notice right here along these edges there's chamfers. SketchUp doesn't really have a good way of chamfering. I mean, there is this tool right here called Fritos or Freddos, I don't know how it's pronounced, that you can run around it, but sometimes that runs into issues as well when you're working on a small scale. So if you want to see it, let's just give it a shot. So you can either do a round corner, it's all called round corners, either a bevel, a sharp corner, or a round corner. Let's go with a round corner. So you're going to select the corners that you want to be chamfered. So let's just go ahead, click on that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, then you need to select your offset, which is your radius. So let's go down here and find out what our radius needs to be. 2mm typical. So typical just means everywhere. that you see a chamfer, it's going to be 2 millimeters. Let's go up here, type in 2.00, hit OK. Okay, now you'll notice the lines that went all the way across like that. So now when you see the check mark, just go ahead and click to execute. And okay, so as you can see, it put a chamfer on it. Let's click out of it and see if it kept it solid. It did. So this one, the offset was good enough that it didn't cause any stray edges. Sometimes it does, and you have to go and search for them, and that's a pain in the butt. So we forgot to do, while we're at it, let's just finish the entire part. We need to do the fronts. So let's go back in. We did round corner. Let's go ahead and click that line. That line, you do not have to hold control when you're using this extension. I need to see which ones. Okay, even the backs. Wait, what about the inside corners? Nope. So the backs. Okay, now click to execute. Okay, now you'll notice where there's a problem right here. It didn't take it all the way up, so we can't use the push tool on it because it is a round surface. So you can see the limitations of it. Maybe we should have done these edges first and then done this one, and would have seen what happened. But let's see if it's still a component, a solid. At least it's still a solid. Just if you were to 3D print this, it would look a little strange. So while we're at it, why don't we just reverse the process? Bear with me, guys. Okay, so I went ahead and selected all the edges now instead of doing it in groups of 2. Let's go see ahead and see what happens. Alright, so it took about a half a second, and let's get out of that. Let's take a peek. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's click out of it, click back on our component. It says it's solid. So, not too bad. That extension is called Frito's Round Corner. So, where's my extension manager? Oh, I don't have internet connection right now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, just look up Fritos or Freddos. I think it's F-R-E-D-O-S, Round Corner. Or from the extension warehouse, just type in Round Corner, and then you'll find it. But anyway, there we go. That is our solid component, and I've shown you guys how to use Twilight to do photorealistic rendering. So go ahead, and if you want to do that. Make a nice, pretty render of it. I also have what they call Kirkithia. This is the, Kirkithia is what Twilight's based off of, and it's open source, and it's a full rendering program, and it's separate of SketchUp. So you could be rendering something on another PC that's running Kirkithia as you're using SketchUp, or even on the same PC. So it's kind of nice. They have this little exporter here that you can find on their website, and then inside Kirkithia it's pretty much the same as Twilight. So there is a 50-page manual that you can read that's really helpful for Kirkithia. But anyway, that is the finished part. So just in review, you guys learned how to do using the Follow Me tool, creating a chamfer with the autofold tool, which was the chamfer on top of the hex bolt. And then we just went over Fritos or Freddos, however you want to say it, and then we used solid tools to make cuts and also a union. And we experimented a little bit with the union. I totally forgot that once that was in place inside the model, usually triple click would highlight everything, but we got lucky this time and it was able to separate that geometry for us. So if that wouldn't have worked, we could have just intersected the faces with context and then gone inside and erased the bits of the path we didn't want on the inside, and would have been able to union the model just fine. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. There's still a lot more videos in the process, so continue sketching and printing, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.